I come from a group called the White Roots of Peace. We are a cultural exchange group that traveled throughout this Turtle Island from 1966. And I've been to every university in this country, some of them several times over, speaking to students such as you. And we always try to pick you up. Later on, we're going to have music. I'm going to be doing social dances in my way, in my nation's language, and how we socialize in social dancing. I will show you the instruments that we use. I will show you how to use them. And I encourage each and every one of you to participate in what it is that I'm doing, because I'm not here to put on a show for anyone. I want your minds, I want you to join in, and I want you to enjoy what it is I'm here to do, because I'm not here to put a show on for anybody, because I respect each and every one of you. You all have a mind of your own. But I want to share with you it's another generation, the third generation of people that I have had the pleasure of speaking in front of throughout my lifetime. I've seen two generations go, my teachers. And it's my obligation to use, and your next generation following you, and the next 7 generations, to pass this forward. How we walk on this earth in peace, how we walk on this earth respecting everything that the Creator has given us and that your elders have given you. If we thought of that more often, we wouldn't be where we are today in this world. It's all about respect for one another as a people. We're only here for a short time. And this is what we try to encourage throughout my life traveling on this Turtle Island. And the Creator has rewarded me. I have beautiful grandchildren. They're all in respectable colleges, every one of my grandchildren, because I raised them to be proud of who they are. That you have a purpose here. You have a responsibility to your next generation following you in how you walk on this Mother Earth, how you take care of her. And I enjoy doing what I do. I travel a lot. I'm always on the road, speaking to students such as yourselves. And to think about it today, I just thought about it sitting outside. How many years went by so fast. I'm already 64 years old. And I was only 12 years old when I started traveling with this White Roots of Peace group. And especially Native students. We reached out to the Native students back in 1969. We told them to be proud of who you are as Native people. You are the original people that inhabited this land. That this is your home. Get an education. Go to college. Stay in college. And learn their way. But don't ever forget who you are as a Native person. Don't ever forget how to walk on this Mother Earth with that respect for each other. We put out a newspaper called Akwesasne Notes. We had a circulation of 83,000 each month. It was called Akwesasne Notes. It was an Indian newspaper. We reported on everything that we came across in Indian country as we traveled. We had an agent that set an agenda for us. And as we traveled college to college to college to college, every 3 days we were at a new college speaking to students like yourselves. This young fellow today says, I remember you coming to my college. You don't know how that made me feel. That picked me up even more. Yous were at my college. Wow. Then that made me realize how old I was. That was a long time ago in the Hamptons. Yeah. We rubbed elbows with all the big wigs in Washington, but we talked about Indian education. We talked about Indian policies. We talked about respecting Native people in this country. That's what we were all about. But where we are today, we came a long ways looking at yourselves. And to find myself, I even had time to retire from being a Mohawk steel ironworker. I built half of Manhattan, putting up skyscrapers. I retired from International Ironworkers. I climbed right to the top with being a superintendent for American Bridge and all of these other companies. You know, I had the pleasure of people, my elders, that were top superintendents for different companies like those. We just buried one the other day. Well-respected man. I'd never seen the Longhouse packed so much. People were outside standing because there were so many people. They came from everywhere. Just to show respect to this leader. But he done the same thing that we done. He promoted our traditional culture. And how we keep that moving. That last generation, we're losing them fast. I'm telling you that 40 years is going to go by fast. Use every day that you have to bring peace in your lives, because those 40 years is going to be like tomorrow. And that's how I feel. Time flew so fast. Where did those 40 years go? I was a teenager. Now I'm an elder. But my elders are all gone. They're no longer with me. But I listen to every one of them. How you walk on this earth, how you uphold that great law, our Constitution of the Iroquois Confederacy, and how you follow those white roots that we talk about. You follow those white roots from the east, the west, and the north, and the south, back to the Confederacy, to the Grand Council. And you uphold that law of that Confederacy. How you respect one another and how we walk in peace with each other. Because nobody is any better than anyone else. We are all equal. And that determines a lot on where we go as a people in this country. And the respect of Mother Earth. I don't know how long we have here.
We have about a half hour.
Huh?
We have about, actually, yeah.
An hour yet?
Uh-huh.
And what I want to tell you is about you. This is about music, okay?
No, today's great law.
It's
Oh, you're doing music right now.
the music that I'm going to share with you is. I'm going to talk about the sacred parts of some of these instruments that we use. That they're sacred. They're not to be played with out of its context because they're sacred and they're only used at certain times, at ceremonies. And we have so many different societies that people are consumed with throughout their lives because it's a very hard thing, the respect that goes with those different societies. I have with me that I brought several of the instruments that we're going to be using tomorrow, on Thursday at the social. I'm looking forward to that because I like to sing.
On Thursday, too, there are workshops all day, specifically on music, so we'll teach a lot about traditional music and then some contemporary, just so you put the plug in now so I don't forget.
Throughout my life, when I was this high, I was a singer. I always sat in the middle with the drummers, with the singers. And I was talking to you about being an elder. I was at this big sing in Onondaga, in the capital that we call Onondaga. We were at a big sing where all the nations come together. And the leadership stood up. And he asked if I would sit with the seniors, with the elders, and sing. And I'm looking around as, well, I'm not an elder. How old are you? I'm 63 years old. Well, you're an elder. I didn't want to accept that. I didn't want to accept that I was an elder yet. And at that time, that's when I realized, I'm getting old. But it was a great honor for the Confederacy to ask me to sit with these group of elders to sing. I didn't realize how many years had went by so fast. And they sent me a recording of that big. We call it a big sing, where all of the Confederacy comes together, and we compete against each other singing. And how much you taught those little ones, the next generations, how much you handed that down and how good they sound. You had a chance to show your singing group. They had a chance to prove themselves. And a lot of times the longhouses are packed, standing room only. And the floors in the longhouses are just bouncing as the people are dancing. The elders in their 80s and 90s, there's so many people dancing that they don't even have to move. They just stand there and the floor throws them back up in the air. And they say, we don't have to work hard. We just have to get up. And it's really something to be at these things, because you see how much you have moved that next generation of people. How good a job you've done in teaching them. And that someday you are going to make good leaders. And how you teach them and groom them for those new positions as they grow older. And like I said, we've been to so many movements throughout my life. And it's an honor to be here. When Don called me and asked me if I would come here, I said, I haven't done that in a long time. I haven't been to university in a long time. But on Thursday, I plan on having a good time all day, speaking in classes and singing and dancing with you. And like I said, I want everyone to participate. And we're going to have a good time. I will show you and let you use the instruments that I have that make our social dances. And I ask that you have the respect for each one of those instruments that I have. Because they have a spirit, every one of them. And as you use them, I will put in those words as I open that day to give you the power to use those rattles or whatever instrument is that I give you. We'll do a lot of social dances. I know that when we used to go to university, once the dancing started, the students wanted to go into 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They didn't want it to end. And at universities, I don't care what university, every university was the same when it came to Native people. The first day that we arrived on campus, we would always pull up to the student union and we would set this 30-foot teepee up in the front of the student union to let them know that we're here. The White Roots of Peace are here. And we're here for 3 days. I don't care what university we were at. We never seen Native students. I don't care what university. The first day. The second day, we seen a little bit more of the students, the Native students, coming out of the closet. The third day, we seen all the Native students on the third day. That was the last day we're going to be here. These Native students in my generation were taught to be ashamed of who they are as Native people. And these Native students didn't want their non-Native friends to know that they were Native. That's why they didn't come out. I don't care what college it was. It was all the same because they were taught to be ashamed of who they are, that we were nothing but savages. And they didn't want their non-Indian friends to know that they were Native. And the third day, they would always come out and they would say, "Stay 2 more days. Why don't you stay another day? We didn't really get that much time to mingle with you." Well, we had 3 days. Where were you the first 2 days? And that opened my eyes at that time, because throughout my traveling, that's the way it was. But I hope that today, that these things have changed, because we've made a big difference in the world. We've made a big difference on the stage in that last generation of us educating the world of who Aboriginal and Native people are. And I'm starting this White Roots of Peace traveling group up again. I'm looking for an agent because I want to start traveling again. I retired. Now I got plenty of time on my hands, and I'd like to travel again. And I would like, to take younger people with me. And I would sort of like to see what difference we made throughout Indian country, throughout this great Turtle Island of ours. I traveled extensively through the West throughout my years in retirement. And to see the elders that groomed me, that groomed my generation, to see them come out and acknowledge you as a leader, and how far you have come in upholding the law of the Iroquois Confederacy. But you're only one person. You can't tell people what to do. You can only suggest to them how you walk on this earth. That's why I say, to these elders, they say to me, I was telling Don this morning that I remember an elderly woman saying to me, "I seen your mother sitting on your shoulder as you were speaking to the people. You were speaking the same words that your mother taught you. You conducted yourself the same way that the elders conducted themselves." And today, coming here, I was nervous. To be honest with you, I was nervous. I said, I haven't done this in a long time. It's been a long time. But colleges are still here. It's only the next generation.